My name is Msgr Lopes. I am a priest of the Archdiocese of San Francisco, and it's my habit to come and harass my classmate Father Jeff at New Year's, which also gives me the great joy of being with you and celebrating Holy Mass with you on this, the last night of the year. There's a certain wisdom and insight that the Church has, that on the 1st of January, as we begin a new year, we celebrate the solemnity of the motherhood of Mary. Because as we come together at the new year, we cannot help but have a certain hope and expectation for what that new year would bring. We make resolutions. We're grateful for the many gifts we received in 2011, but we can't help ourselves but to look forward to 2012 to receive it as something new. And of course, what more new could there be than the great thing that God has done for us in the birth of His Son through the Blessed Virgin Mary. This is the great work of God. And so to reflect on Mary's motherhood, to reflect on the grace that God works through her, we reflect on our own need for the grace of God to work in our own lives, to be present with us not only as we begin the new year, but every day throughout that new year. Mary's great prayer is the prayer that she utters as a response to that greeting of the Archangel Gabriel, saying that she was to become the mother of the Son of God. She says, "Fiat," that's the Latin word, "fiat, let it be done to me according to your word." That is the prayer of faith, through which Mary opens her heart and her soul completely and totally and without reserve to the power of God's love. And it is the power of God's love that is so able to take root in her soul, in her heart, that it brings forth from her human body, the human body of Jesus, the Son of God, Emmanuel, God with us. It's the great mystery of Christmas. But that mystery of Christmas is possible because of Mary's great prayer of faith. But it is not a prayer that she prays just that one time in front of the Archangel Gabriel. No. It is a prayer that will mark every single day of her life. Let's consider for just a moment this evening the life of the Blessed Virgin Mary and that prayer, "Let it be done to me, fiat." She prays it, of course, at that moment of the Annunciation. But she prays it every moment of her pregnancy. This is a yes to God that would lead her across a desert. It would lead her to embrace the poverty and the humiliation of having to give birth to her son in a cave where the animals were kept. And yet she says to God, "Be it done to me according to your word." It's a yes, it's a prayer that would be repeated in Jesus' own childhood. Think of the finding of the child Jesus in the temple. She and Joseph did not understand the words of Jesus when he stayed behind to spend that time with the scholars of the law. "Didn't you know that I had to be in my Father's house?" And she prays again, "Be it done to me, God, according to your word," not knowing where this grace would lead. It led to the great moment of Jesus' revelation at the wedding at Cana. It was Mary who said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Well, wasn't she just telling them to pray the same prayer that she herself is praying? "Do to whatever he tells you. Be it done to me according to your word." It's a prayer that would lead her throughout that public life of Jesus. How could she not, as a mother, feel somewhat of a rejection as Jesus leaves her home, leaves Nazareth, and becomes, well, quite a public figure, almost a celebrity in his own day, as he moved up and down the Holy Land, preaching the good news of the kingdom? How did Mary's friends and relatives take it? We have glimmers and examples in the Gospel that they didn't take it all too well. It was in Nazareth, his hometown, where Mary lived, that they tried to throw him off the cliff. "Be it done to me according to your word." It was a prayer that would lead her to the foot of the cross, to the crucifixion, to the agony of watching her own son give his life, be brutally murdered for the glory of God and the salvation of sinners. And there, rooted next to the cross, she has to pray in a new and more profound way than could ever have been imagined by her or us or anyone else. Be it done to me according to your word. That faith, that prayer, would not receive its crowning glory until Easter morning. She went through her whole life praying, be it done to me according to your word, O Lord, not knowing where the grace of God would lead her or her family, but confident that God's love and God's power at work in her who believed would accomplish more than she could ever think or imagine as a lowly woman of Israel. She put her confidence, her trust in God, and her life was transformed. She was stretched far beyond the limits and limitations of her life and her work. As we begin this new year, our prayer can only be the prayer of Mary, Mother of God. Be it done to me, O Lord, in accord with your word. If we make that our prayer, not just today, but every day of this new year, we open ourselves to what God can accomplish in and through us for the salvation of the world. It is Mary's prayer that is crowned with the glory of Easter, and it is our prayer as disciples that is also crowned with glory. The same glory that shone on Christmas morning, the glory that the shepherds and the angels proclaimed, the glory that we celebrate and receive every time we receive the body and blood of Jesus at Mass. Let us make our prayer Mary's prayer. Be it done to me, O Lord, in accord with your word, and God will accomplish great things